You've eaten one today, probably without thinking about it. Bread, rice, pasta, cereal. The seeds of grasses, wheat, barley, rye fuel your body. They always have. But here's the part nobody talks about. Those seeds weren't always food. They were wild, scattered, unpredictable. And then, 13,000 years ago, someone picked one up, looked at it, and decided to put it in the ground on purpose. That decision changed everything. The first seed wasn't planted by a farmer. It was planted by someone who was desperate. Around 13,000 years ago, the world was getting colder. The Younger Dryas, a sudden, dramatic ice age, was gripping the planet. The lush forests and wild grasslands that had fed humans for millennia were disappearing. Wild cereals, wheat, barley, rye were becoming scarce. Animals were dying out. The old way of life, hunting and gathering, was failing. For thousands of years, humans had wandered across the landscape, following food. You picked what was ripe, you hunted what was available. You moved on. But now, there wasn't enough. So someone did something that had never been done before. They took a seed and they planted it. Not because they had a plan, not because they were curious, because they were hungry. The earliest known evidence of farming comes from a place called Tel Abu Hureyra in modern-day Syria. It sits on the banks of the Euphrates River. Between 13,300 and 7,800 years ago, people lived there. They started as hunter-gatherers, people who roamed the landscape collecting wild plants and hunting game. But then the climate changed, the Younger Dryas hit, and the wild plants they relied on became harder to find. So they did something extraordinary. They started to cultivate. They planted seeds and tended the plants. Archaeologists excavating the site found the remains of rye grains, and not just wild rye, cultivated rye, seeds that had been deliberately planted and harvested. Here's what's fascinating. The seeds were small, unremarkable, but they had a telltale sign of domestication. When wild cereals are ready to harvest, the seeds fall off the plant. It's called shattering. That's how wild plants spread. They drop their seeds and the wind carries them away. But when you plant seeds deliberately, you start to select for something different. You want the seeds to stay on the plant. You want them to be easy to harvest. And over time, the plants changed. They stopped shattering. The seeds stayed attached. They got bigger. They became dependent on humans to plant them. That's domestication. It wasn't a quick process. It took thousands of years. But it started with a single decision: to plant a seed instead of eating it. In the Fertile Crescent, a crescent-shaped region stretching from the Mediterranean to the Persian Gulf, people were domesticating 8 founder crops: einkorn wheat, emmer wheat, barley, lentil, pea, chickpea, bitter vetch, and flax. These were the first seeds, the ones that started everything. But here's the part that's hard to understand. We didn't domesticate plants. Plants domesticated us. Think about it. Before farming, humans were wanderers. You moved with the seasons, you followed the herds, you picked what was ripe and moved on. But when you plant a seed, you have to stay. You have to tend the field. You have to wait for the harvest. You can't leave. The first farmers became sedentary. They built villages, they stored grain, they defended their stores from raiders. And that changed everything. Settlements grew. Populations exploded. The world's first villages, Jericho in the West Bank, Çatalhöyük in Turkey, rose from the ground. But there was a cost. Hunter-gatherers had varied diets. They ate dozens of different plants and animals. They were healthier than early farmers. Early farmers ate mostly grain, 1 or 2 types of grain. Their diets were monotonous. They lacked vitamins. Their bones showed signs of malnutrition. Their teeth rotted from the starch. Life expectancy dropped. Infant mortality soared. Disease spread through crowded villages.
The skeletons from Abu Hureyra show signs of stress, deformities from grinding grain, arthritis from kneeling to plant and harvest. Farming was hard. It was painful. It was a worse life in many ways.
So why did we do it? Because it produced more food. More food meant more people. More people meant more power. More power meant survival. Farming didn't make us happier. It made us stronger. It made us win. And once we started, we couldn't stop.
Now, come back to you. When you eat a slice of bread, you are eating a seed that was domesticated 10,000 years ago. A seed that was planted by someone who was hungry. A seed that changed the world. Every grain of wheat you eat is a descendant of the first seeds, a living link to the people who chose to plant instead of wander. But here's the part that's truly strange. We think we domesticated plants. We think we tamed nature. We think we invented farming. But farming invented us. It changed our bodies, our diets, our societies, our wars, our gods. The first seeds didn't just feed us, they created us.
So the next time you eat a piece of bread, remember, you are eating a seed that was planted 13,000 years ago. A seed that changed the world. A seed that turned wanderers into villagers, hunters into farmers, survivors into conquerors. You are eating history. And if that history means something to you, if you feel that ancient hunger somewhere in your stomach, then stick around. There's more where this came from. We're digging up the past, one seed, one harvest, one story at a time. Subscribe, and we'll keep exploring together.